Good morning, it's Doug. Today's November 15th. It's a little blustery and overcast of a day, but it's 70 degrees, so riding weather is okay. Now what we're going to talk about today is my 15,000 mile review on my 24 RT Limited. I purchased this at the end of January, beginning of February of 2025, and we put a few miles on it this year so far. Since our 7,500 mile update, we've ridden almost 5,000 miles on a trip out west to visit the sites, and at the end of October, beginning of November, I rode down to DeLand, Florida for the Fall Spider Rally, and I made a side trip to Venice. Impressions. My overall impression hasn't changed. This is a fine mechanical machine. I don't have any issues with it at all, mechanically. But I have had it into the shop about, I think, 5 times now for CarPlay, and it's a pretty aggravating deal to me. I actually beta tested a patch for BRP, and it was actually worse than the update that I had just done prior to that. Next week, I am scheduled to take it in for the 6th or 7th time, and they're going to replace some wiring and the instrument panel for BRP. And my service advisor said BRP is sending a quote-unquote special instrument panel. It kind of worries me. While I was in DeLand, and we're still on the subject of CarPlay, there was a technical seminar, and Spider Dave from Seminole Power Sports down there talked about the CarPlay. And he brought up some facts that I thought should be public knowledge, but they're not. He's saying that CarPlay on the Can-Am does not like to play with the Cardo headsets. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Apparently with the Sennas, there aren't any issues, but Cardo, there seems to be a lot. And guess what? I have a Cardo. That shouldn't be a problem, but apparently it is. And they talked about a workaround for CarPlay, and I actually am trying that, and it's about 99% effective in connection. But we shouldn't have to do a workaround to make this thing work. Should be like my Chevy Silverado. I can plug in my phone at any time, at any point, being in the vehicle, and CarPlay hooks right up. Not here. What I've had to do is buy a dongle that connects in the trunk to imitate the headset. Had to disconnect my Cardo from the Can-Am, and have to use a certain sequence on the connection. I gotta have the phone unplugged. I gotta start the Can-Am, and after I start it, then I plug in the phone. Shouldn't have to do that. But right now it's working, and I'm still taking this in on Wednesday to have the work done by the service department. It kind of worries me, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. Let's see. Okay, that's my rant over CarPlay. Mechanically, like I said, this thing is top notch. No problems at all. Except for a couple known problems once again. My strut for the trunk failed even before I bought it. That had to be replaced. And in the middle of the trip out west, where we made 30 fuel stops, the strut for the seat failed. That made a major inconvenience on that trip. On our way back, we were going through Springfield, Missouri. So we made a detour, stopped at the Monster Garage, and I bought, I believe it's a show chrome seat strut. Works like a champ. Should be something the VRP has installed from day one. Something similar, not something that's been failing every time you turn it on. Done many oil changes, because I changed my oil at 5,000 miles. No problems with the oil changes, the magnet on the drain plug, other than the first oil change has come out, you know, pretty clean. There's no debris floating around in there. Oh, the rear tire, the Kenda rear tire that came factory stock. On one of my other videos I talked about it. I wore it out at about 7,300 miles right in the center. And I ran the tire pressure at 26 psi cold, trying to alleviate that known issue of wearing out. Didn't seem to do any good. Before we rode out west, I replaced the rear tire with the Kenda K9, KR20 I believe it is. From what I read, it's different compounds and it's supposed to last longer. Right after we left, we ran into a downpour on I-40. And I had a really bad hydroplane incident. At that point, my knee-jerk reaction was, as soon as I get back, his tire's coming off. It actually happened a couple more times, but I was prepared for it, so it wasn't as big a deal. But I've kind of changed my mind on that knee jerk. I've got over 8,000 miles on this tire, and the wear is universal all the way across the tire, and the wear is pretty good. I'm expecting to get 15,000 miles out of this. That should be something that Can-Am should be looking at, knowing that there is a wear issue on the original Kendas. It may have been fixed with the new style Kenda that's on the 25s and newer. I don't know, but I actually priced those out, and the only way you can get them through Can-Am, and they are twice what I paid for this K9. So I'm going to hold my judgment on what I'm going to do next until after I see some more results of people putting miles on the new design Kenda that's coming on the newer Can-Ams. One other thing that I'm not super pleased with, it's not a major ordeal, is the finish on this. right after I bought it, I buffed it out, put 2 coats of ceramic on all the color and 5 on the black. And I thought maybe that would help, you know, with paint chips and cleaning and everything else. But I'm still getting some chips. I can just imagine what it would be if I hadn't ceramic coated this. But the paint is soft. Everybody knows that. I guess I should have put some PPF on the leading edges and the surfaces instead of just ceramic coating. That's hindsight. But like I said, overall, extremely happy. After the maintenance on the car play next week, I'll test it for a while, and I'll let everybody know my opinions on if that fixed it or not. Other than that, 15,000 mile review, actually heading towards 16,000. Thumbs up. Happy with my purchase, even though I have a little frustrations. This is Doug, signing out.